Good morning, viewers, and thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the now streaming show on ACNNTV, where we challenge perspective and break the stereotype. We sincerely want to apologize for starting behind schedule. It was due to some technical glitches. Today we would be dealing on a very important issue, but I must start by saying religion, it's said to play a powerful role in our national life, and in a country like ours where Christianity is deeply rooted. The role of the church in politics and governance is a topic that cannot be ignored. First, the church has the responsibility of speaking the truth. It must call out injustice, corruption, and the abuse of power. Not in hostility, I must say, but with the courage and moral clarity. These are some of the issues we would be discussing this morning and also proffering answers to them. I would be doing this alongside some developing and trending stories for you today. I am your uncle Godwin Ujiri, and joining me in the studio to do justice to all of these questions I tell you that we have this morning is a very familiar face on the set of ACNNTV now streaming, in person of the Venerable Joseph Onoya JP. He is the Civic and Political Director, Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion. And also he doubles as the chaplain of the National Assembly. And with us in the studio is a comrade by excellence, I must say, no other person but Mr. Vigins Onyize. He is a political analyst. And also, a dear friend, I must add, Mr. Vigins, and that you are welcome to Downstreaming this morning.
Thank you for having us again.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Vigins. Our viewers, remember you can be part of the conversation by calling in the number showing on your screen, and also by sending in your comments via various social media platforms also showing on your screen. But first, we will take a look at some select national dailies that came in this morning. And to kickstart that, I would be starting with the Punch newspaper this morning. And on the front page of the Punch newspaper, it is leading with this, saying marketers warn against disruption as Dangote plans direct fuel supply. This can be seen on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. And we have a rider there that says Nogosa and Petran tackled Dangote fuel surge at 870 naira per litre at private depot amid fields. And then also you can also clearly see at the top of the Punch masthead there, we have 2027 defection stirs tension as APC ADC locks horn, and this can be seen on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Also, we have on page 20, government FX windfall crashes 73% to 589 billion in H1, and this can be seen on page 20, like I earlier read. And also from the Federal Executive Council, we have federal government approves 3.5 trillion for road, airports, and others. This can be seen on page 2 also of the Punch newspaper. And then when you follow through just by the left side corner beside the picture story there, we have Nigeria needs new constitution, not amendment. This is coming from Ezekwesili and can be seen on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. Also on page 7 we have recovery ongoing in 1.3 trillion Cybex Ponzi collapse. This is coming from the EFCC and can be seen on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. And then lastly on that we have on pages 4 and 5 how suspected ritualist dismembered 16 years old son, Ogun State driver. This is indeed a sad one this morning, and we pray and trust that God will grant the soul of the young lad there eternal rest. And moving on very quickly, we will be looking at the Vanguard newspaper this morning, and the Vanguard is leading with this story. It says, how misuse of Cybercrime Act cost Nigeria 1.1 trillion in 7 years. And we have the riders there that says bank, telcos, MDAs, network breach. Financial sector loses 53.4 billion to cybercrime in 2024. Also, we have urgent need arises for a emerging cybercrime enforcement architecture. And then just above the Vanguard masthead there, we have strike. FG approves policy to regulate trade union activity. That story can be seen on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then on page 8, we have 2027. Obi confirms talk with PDP and others. This can also be gotten on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then also we have on that same page, governors move to address education crisis. And also on page 9, we have Tinubu extend custom CG's tenure. This I wonder, because we are still grappling with the external elongation and extension of the IGP of police, and here we're having that of the custom CG again. I just hope and pray it won't spark up controversy just as it is with that of the police IGP there. And then on page 9 we have Niger State. Niger drags FG to Supreme Court over 13% derivation. And then lastly on that, I would say, is Tinubu to governors take gains of reform to grassroots. This can be seen on page 26 of the Vanguard newspaper for this morning. All right, viewers, that would be the much on the front pages of the national dailies for this morning. Like we would always advise you, go get yourself a copy of the paper and follow through with all of the developing stories that we are having for you this morning. Right, we will take a short break, and when we return, we'll dive into the topical issue we have for you this morning. Please stay tuned. All right, welcome back, viewers. If you are just joining us, this is the ACNN Now Streaming Show. We just finished a segment where we dive on all of the trending and developing issue for you this morning. And right about now, we will be looking at the topical issue that we have for you also this morning. And it says, what is the role of the church in politics and governance in Nigeria? I bet you this is a topic you want to keep watch and keep stuck to your TV set to listen to, and also send in your comments via various social media platforms. I still have with me two of my very wonderful guests in person of the Venerable Joseph Noya JP, who is the Director, Civic and Political Affairs Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, and also the Chaplain to the National Assembly. And also I have by my far end here, Mr. Virgins Onyize, who is the SA to the Speaker, House of Representatives, and also a political analyst. Gentlemen, you are welcome once more. It was the last session was tough. I trust that we will give much more clarity and light to the issue we have to deal with right about now. So viewers, we want to encourage you, keep sending in your comment, and also call in if you can to contribute your own quota to the conversation that we are having this morning on set. So I would be diving right into the conversation and urge each and every one of you to follow through with us. Venerable, I think I would be starting with you. The church, like I rightly stated in my introductory remark, plays very vital role when it comes to our national politics. And as a reverend father in the Lord, yourself and also the chaplain of the National Assembly, I just want to ask now, in your own view and understanding, what is the role of the Nigerian church, if I may use that, in the political and governance system of Nigeria today?
Well, I don't think the role of the church in politics can really be quantified. And I think we need some bit of education, and because many people want to draw a line of demarcation, a straight line for that matter, between the church and the society. The truth is that we are not of this world, but we are in the world. And the church cannot completely separate herself from the society and from politics. No, because we are part and parcel of the church, of the society. And for me, if I'm to summarize, the role of the church should be that of a watchdog, should be that of a pressure group. The church should be the voice of the people, should be the conscience of the nation. The church should be able to act in ways and manner that makes those in the corridor of power to be careful, to want to do the right thing. And of course, the church should be able to groom people who will go into the corridor of power and do the right thing.
Sure.
The church stands for justice. The church stands for equity. The church stands for fair play. The church, the church of God should advocate for all these things. And once these things are put to bear in governance, the people will be happy. That's why the Bible says, when the righteous is in authority, the people rejoice. But when the evil people are there in the place of power, the people will mourn. And that is what has been happening in our society, that people who are ungodly, people who are not church men, who are not church women, are the people, what I mean, they have not learned the rudiments of governance. They have not learned the rudiments of justice and fair play. They are the people governing us. And that is why you see things go the way it goes all the time. So for me, the church is at the heart of the society, and the church must be effective when it comes to issue of governance, when it comes to issue of politics. And of course, many people will say the church should distance herself. What is governance all about? Is sharing of the commonwealth of the nation. Simple. And the church should not stay where, or you tell the church to stay in the backyard when the commonwealth is being shared outside. The church should be able to put eye on what is going on, condemn what is wrong, and encourage what is right. So that is why the church, you cannot really quantify the role of the church in society and governance. And when people are well groomed in the church and they go out there to take up political appointment and they are in the corridor of power, we expect that the society will be better because the people have been well groomed by the church.
All right, thank you so much, Venerable. Mr. Vigins, coming to you now. The Venerable here have said a whole lot.
Sure.
And it would then be right for me to just capsulate what he has said, to say that the church is now like the moral compass of every given society. Now, in your own opinion, do you think that the church have lived up to its responsibility as a moral voice of Nigeria thus far?
Currently, no.
Okay. And why do you say that?
Before now, I think we need to establish what this politics governance is all about, because many people will just think politics is not something they want to do or go into. Nobody is saying you should contest. Nobody is saying, but those little roles for you to get your PVC, for you to engage, for you to vote, those things are your civic responsibility. What is politics? Harold Laswell defined politics as who gets what, when, and how. The simplest one, you understand. Albert Einstein also defined politics as the authoritative allocation of power, wealth, like Daddy said. You understand? Commonwealth is being shared. That process is called politics. It's everywhere. In our family, It's there in the church, in the mosque. It's there, but you might not call it that name, politics, but it's everywhere. And you cannot do away with it. I'm happy Daddy said it, that you cannot distance yourself. The church cannot distance itself away from politics. So definitely we should be involved. Now, we are not living up to expectation. Daddy said something. He said the church should be able to groom people to put them in the aims of power, the affairs of governance of any sovereign nation. What is he trying to say? It's the same thing we're talking about. They've not lived up to that expectation. How many people are our church groomed to put in the place of authority? How many people has the church supported to do campaigns to support them? Okay, you are supposed to be so and so place to contest for that particular position, or the person came out and said, okay, I'm contesting. Okay, the only thing our church will do, when I mean church, I'm not talking about the Anglican church alone now. I'm talking about both the Pentecostal and every other church. You find it there. The only thing they will do, they will just pray for that person. That's all. Even if you're not giving the person financial support, can you mobilize your people to support that person during election? Can you mobilize them to canvass vote for that particular individual? So what is the role the church is supposed to be playing? Do you understand? So I think we as a church, we have not lived up to that expectation, for crying out loud. We have to do more, or will I say we should do better, so that people that will get to the aims of affairs of power in a particular country can govern well. When the righteous is in power, the people will rejoice. Tell me, how can people rejoice in our country today, whereby people that are ruling us are not God-fearing? They don't have that humanitarian spirit to govern. If you have it, you will not be governing Nigeria as if it's your private property or private entity or business, for crying out loud. We must look for an idea to jettison all this government of gerontocracy, for crying out loud. The youth should also wake up, and God will help our land.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Vigins. So much you have said. Venerable, given what Mr. Vigin have said, for one, I know my opinion in these issues may not really count. But let me put it this way. In the last election, I saw how the church came out. It might not be too obvious, but it was obviously noted that the faiths, in quotes, are trying to see a way to galvanize support, especially when it comes to the obedient movement and the rest. We saw it all around the place. So, Daddy, I just want to now ask, do you still think, or do you go with his assertion that the church have not lived up to its responsibility thus far?
I agree with him entirely. I agree with him that the voice of the church today is not as loud as it's supposed to be. I agree with him that the church, when it comes to mobilization, have not done enough. You see, there's one evil that has befallen us in the Christendom over the years. This draw, that, you know, at the beginning, I chose my word to say people are trying to draw a straight line between the church and the society, between church and politics, and so on and so forth. Don't be surprised that after I leave here today, people will be bombarding me with all sorts of texts and all sorts of things saying that I should stay in the altar and all that. I should stay in the altar. What is happening in Nigeria today is already affecting the church. Church members are no longer coming to church because they cannot afford transportation. Church members are not able to even support the activities of the church, the welfare of the church, because of the bad economy. And you want the church to keep quiet, you want the priest to keep quiet and not to say anything. And you see, the church keep telling you right from the beginning that politics is dirty, and so people should not go near it. And because of that, many people don't want to hear anything about politics. They want to stay on the sideline. And when the one that is worse of recent is this idea, the terminology, not being partisan, not be partisan. And we should not use that very terminology to the extent that it will push the church into a complete state of irrelevance. Because anything you say now about evil going on in the society, there's somebody there to say you are becoming partisan as a church member or as a priest in the altar. If something goes wrong now, and in government now, APC is in government now. If I speak as a priest, before you know it, the APC members in the church will say you are becoming partisan because you condemned evil. They want to cow the church. They want to silence the church completely so that evil will continue to thrive. For me, I disagree completely. That I'm not a member of APC, I'm not a member of PDP, I'm not a member of Labour, and I don't intend to become member of any of them, but I stand to condemn evil. I stand to speak against any government in power. Whether you say I'm partisan, I'm not partisan, I don't care. I have an account to give before the Almighty God on the long run, that as a priest, I'm supposed to be the mouthpiece of the people. I'm supposed to be the conscience of the society. If by doing that you say I'm partisan, well, that is your own judgment. The truth is that the politicians don't want you to come near. They don't want the church to come near. They don't want the priests and the pastors to say anything. Yes, we agree that some pastors have abused privileges. Some pastors have stepped outside this what's supposed to be the normal boundary. But I want to still say that the church have a big role to play. And when it comes to mobilization, we're talking about obedient movement. I don't see anything wrong. Things are going wrong. We know that the problem of Nigeria today is mismanagement, is bad governance. Then if the church, if people, who are the people in the church? People who have been filled with the Spirit of God. People who have the spirit of excellence. People who have the spirit of discernment. If they see a Nigeria, whether it's an Igbo man, whether it's Peter Obi, or whether it's an Hausa man, whether it's a Yoruba man, or from any other corner of the country, if the church sees a person, they know this one seems to carry the Spirit of God, and let people rally around this individual, and let him come and govern this nation so that we can get out of this economic quagmire. I don't think the church will be wrong for mobilizing for such. Even in Egypt, it was a young man, Joseph, a man filled with the Spirit of God, with the Spirit of excellence, that was called upon to come and be a solution. If people have kept quiet and ignored that young man, the kind of spirit that was in him, the spirit of excellence, the whole nation would have perished. But his intervention saved Egypt and all the nations around the world at that very time. And people supported him. So that is how I see the issue of governance. That if the church can identify an individual who is honest, who is humble, who is not arrogant, who is not a tout, who is God-fearing, who is well-groomed academically, and the church says, this one, we see that the hand of God is upon this person, and the church decides to support the person, whether it's APC member, whether it's Labour member, party member, I don't care. I don't see that as being partisan. I see that as trying to rescue the society from decadence. I see that from the angle of intervention. That was what happened in 2023. The truth is that the church is one very strong army that is fighting against herself. We are in a multi-religious society, and the people of other religion, they don't care about what you say. They understand power. They understand the game. They know when you get power, you have everything. And they do everything to make sure that they strategically put their person in place of authority. Look at how they threw the issue of Muslim ticket. They experimented it in Kaduna, and they experimented it nationwide. And they are taking over everything. Go to ministries, go to parastatals in governance. They are taking everything over, strategically planning for 50 years to come. And the church is busy criticizing herself, criticizing pastors. It is in 2023 for the first time. If you always talk about, look at the background. What led to the mobilization that was done for Peter Obi by many pastors in 2023. Don't forget, most of the people that were pressing for Peter Obi were Pentecostal pastors even. They are not Catholic. They are not Catholic members. But they saw in Peter Obi somebody who was coming to rescue the nation, somebody who was coming to fight corruption. That is why they rally around him. And they were able to come out to do that because the people of the other faith threw to Nigeria the issue of Muslim ticket and said no one can do anything about it. So we should not always take the matter completely out of context. For me, speaking against evil is not being partisan. Okay. If tomorrow, if it's Labour that is in government and they are not doing well, I will condemn them.
Sure.
If they are doing well, I will commend them. Tomorrow, if APC is the one continuing in government and they are not doing well, as they are not even doing well now, I will condemn them. That does not make me a PDP member. That does not make me a Labour Party member. I'm speaking as a Nigerian, as a citizen, as a priest of the Most High God, who should speak for the masses and who should advocate for the right thing to be done.
All right, thank you so much.
Before you know it now, we just talk about the money doled out to footballer was 2 months. Somebody will say we are targeting APC. Yes.
All right.
That's the truth.
Venerable, we hope our viewers do not get a separate narrative outside what we are pulling out here. Just to take a comment from a viewer, I think this is coming from Nancy Ebuka. She says, and I read here, it says, for as long as the church keeps giving special attention to the politicians, collecting money from them, begging them for different favor, the church would never have the moral ground to speak the truth to our evil politician. The church can, the church should and must do better. This is coming in from Nancy Ebuka. Please keep the comment coming, and if time permits, we'll definitely read all of those comments.
Let me just say something to what this lady just said. I guess it's a lady.
Yes.
And I will say to a large extent she's right, because you should not throw away your moral authority. I thank God this is 15 years since I've been chaplain to the National Assembly, and I've said it on air times without number. Let any senator, let any House of Rep member come out to challenge me to say, for 15 years since my appointment to be praying for them and be counseling them in the National Assembly, I've brought any single request or letter to say, come to my church to give me money during harvest or to do this or that. I simply go there, I pray for them, and I've never tendered any personal request or anything. Give that opportunity to some individuals. By now, I don't have a house in Abuja till today. By now, they should be living in mansion in Abuja because they have access to these people. They will be extorting money from them and all that. What I go there to do is to simply tell them, my brother, don't forget people voted you into this office. After 4 years, you will go back to the people. You must account to the people. This is democracy. Numbers count. So make sure you don't forget your constituency. And I further tell them, make sure if you came in here as a Christian, you don't go back as an unbeliever. Keep your faith intact and make sure you take care of your personal health, because you need to be alive to be able to govern. And don't forget your family. These are the 4 areas I speak to them. I have need, but I've never presented it to any person. So it's not every priest that is a beggar. It's not every church that is abusing privilege. So we are overgeneralizing. It's sweeping generalization to think that every church is begging for arm from government, or every Christian is taking gifts from politicians. It's not true.
All right.
It's not true.
Venerable, thank you so much. We are pressed for time here. Mr. Vigins, now coming to you. You've had all the wonderful analysis the Venerable here have given. But now to ask you, as a laity that we both are, where should we draw the line between preaching social justice and interfering in politics?
Okay.
Where should that line be drawn?
Draw which line?
Which line?
Which line are you drawing? We are telling you that you need to be in governance, you need to be in politics, you need to participate. You don't draw any line now.
Okay.
You go in anywhere you are. Even the pulpit should be a place where you speak truth to power. That is the authority you have to even speak, so that the government will hear and know that we are doing the wrong thing. No, tomorrow we will not do this thing like this. That is where you should be saying those things, those truths.
All right. Are you now saying that church leaders and pastors should openly support political candidates from the pulpit?
Daddy said something. It's not left for you to have the understanding. When you see a good person that is God-fearing, that has those good qualities he has mentioned, for crying out loud, nobody needs to tell you what to do. Even if men of God did not come out to say, vote for this person, for crying out loud, when they tell you that, go for somebody that is God-fearing, go for somebody that have sympathy, go for somebody that can show you empathy, go for somebody that can... There are so many ways they can do this on the pulpit, for crying out loud. They don't need to come in.
Let me just help you, my dear brother. I think lack of education on the part of some pastors is also an issue.
And fear.
Many people are not well groomed. There are self-acclaimed pastors who feel they are not under the control of any person. They can speak anyhow, they can talk anyhow, they can just talk even when God has not spoken. Some of them come out to say, God say. This is the issue. If you are well trained, if you are well groomed as a pastor, there's a way you will speak on the pulpit about justice, about fairness, about equity, about fair play. The members of the congregation will know.
They know where you are going to. They know what you are saying.
Without you necessarily mentioning names.
They're not drawing any line.
So education matters here. And you see, I talk about abuse. You see some pastors, in quote, coming out making prediction even when God has not, because they just want to be relevant. No. You see, the institution of priesthood is very powerful, and it's one of the oldest institutions in the world. There was a time some nations were running theocracy. Is the priest that is the pastor, is the priest, and is the governor of the country, doing it on behalf of God. And these people will not come out to say what God has not said. For instance, my first son, is an evangelist. And do you know, God gives him revelation. Do you know, months before, let me use my state for example, months before the election, he called me, as he normally do, to share his revelation. Say, Daddy, who is Okpebble? Who is Monday Okpebble? He's going to be the next governor of Edo State. I say, what? He said, God, show me. He gave me the revelation. It was so clear. It was so vivid. And I say, my brother, I hope you never put this thing on Facebook. Oh. If you put it there, people will say you are playing politics or you are predicting. He said, no, I'm wiser than that. He said, even when this thing materializes, people will still condemn and say it's because the man won. That's why I'm going to tell you. He said, I'm going to post it today that God has given the revelation to me. He said, I'm going to pin it so that the date in which I post everything will be there. I will keep it until when what God has spoken manifest. And when, lo and behold, who is the governor today? He is not a politician. He doesn't even have membership card of any political party. So if you are a true man of God, you are a priest, even the people in the corridor of power will know. When you speak, they will know.
All right.
They will know.
All right, thank you so much, Venerable Mr. Virgins. We are so pressed for time. And I just want to ask you, you are a politician yourself. Now, looking at the next cycle of election coming up 2027, what do you think the church should prioritize? Should we prioritize prayer, advocacy, or public engagement?
Public engagement.
Okay.
Yes, we need to pray. We are not living behind the result or effect of prayers. We are not. But that's why some other countries, they will insult us that Nigerians will only pray. No practical work. We are not working towards what we want to achieve or actualize. Yes, we will pray, but you cannot just a prayer without work. Even the prayer without work is what? It's there. I mean, without faith is there. So you need to have faith. You need to also work to make sure that that thing you're working for will manifest and materialize. So definitely, as we are working, we will pray. But let's not say we will just be praying and fasting without carrying out those work we're supposed to do, to engage, to sensitize, enlighten our people, telling them the effect and why they need to participate in government, politics, telling them why, the reason they need to be there. Because the price of anything, even this phone, this biro, as small as a pin, is political. The price of anything under the sun is political, because when you go and get those things, maybe from custom and the rest, they will now determine the price you will sell it once it enters this country. And who are those people heading those whatever customs and whatever place in the port? It's the government. So in any way you want to put it, but if you put somebody that is God-fearing and good in those terms of authority in that particular place, you find that those price of those things you are talking about, they will be justifiable to give the masses on a good price on what to get in the marketplaces. Right. Because these are day-to-day activities, what we get for our families, even what we eat, even the rice, the chicken, they place a ban on it, right? But they've given an individual authority to be bringing in chicken, turkey, and rice into this country. Are you aware? But they stopped it for the general populace. But they've given one person now, currently as I'm talking to you, they've given one person the sole authority to be bringing in those things. This is the same politics we are talking about. If you are the one there, will you bring out laws that will affect everybody? Then you will now turn back and now give approval to just one person. Think about it.
All right, then lastly, what would be your last word to Christian out there?
Join politics, participate, be informed, be involved, join, participate. That is my own. Just join. When they want to vote, don't say, because of, according to Niccolo Machiavelli, he states, a nation suffers not just because of the bad people in it, but because of the good people that has refused to participate in government or politics. You don't just say because you are good, you don't want to participate. No, join politics. Participate, or even more, join political party and be, so that you will just rise to the aims of affair of that political party and do, when they are doing the selection processes of the NWC of any political party, you will be there to make right decision for the people.
Thank you so much, Mr. Virgins Onyise. Venerable, now your last word to our viewers on the show, because Mr. Virgins have rightly said, join politics. Let me hear from our Father in the Lord.
The church will continue to sensitize members of the congregation. The church will continue to mobilize for political action. The church should be a strong voice. The church should not just be an attachment. They should be a participant, because we are part and parcel of the society. The church should be able to mobilize her members to do the right thing, even when it comes to voting, when it comes to choosing who should be the next leader. I give you just an example. Why are people complaining today? The person in the helms of affairs today, during campaign, said he was going to reduce the purchasing power of the people, and it was going to expand the tax dragnet. Today, people can't feed well. People can't live well because the tax dragnet is being expanded beyond measure. Was that not the campaign he campaigned for? He's doing what he said he will do. The purchasing power of the people is gone. So, when we were talking that time that this kind of manifesto is not going to do well, and another person is talking about coming to cost of governance, we are coming to make sure that we fight corruption and all that. People will say, look at that direction. People didn't listen, but everyone is crying now. People have started writing prayer requests now. Businesses are closing. The pastor now have more prayer to pray because people didn't listen to pastors. Yeah. They didn't listen to the church when they were voting. So let the church not keep quiet. Let the church not be intimidated to the point that they can no longer speak, because somebody, if you speak, people will say you are partisan. Do you know, if you keep quiet, the same people say the church is too docile. Yeah. The church is not active. If you talk, the people that belongs to that particular party, they will say, the church is becoming partisan. Let a bishop condemn the present government. You hear how the people, members of that party in the church, will take up that very bishop. No, we should not be intimidated not to do the right thing. Sure. The church voice must be very, very strong.
Loud.
And like as he said, we should not only be speaking, we should be participating, we should be deliberately grooming people and sending them into the corridor of power. We should support people to imagine. One of the greatest challenges I have faced over the years is that Our Christian politicians, especially from our church, they challenge me. They say, what is the church doing to support them? That if the church did not support them to get to that very place, when they are there, you should come and tell them what to do. Because they went to shrine, they went to court group to be able to get there. Where's your role? So that is what he was saying. The church should do more. I know the church is doing something. The church is, in terms of social amenities, I know that the church is doing fantastically well. And I encourage the church to do more. Members should get their PVC, be ready to vote, and don't just go and vote foolishly. Look at the character of the people you are sending there to save your own future and the future of your children.
All right, Venerable, thank you. Thank you so much. We are really pressed for time. And the emphasis have been, like Virgin said, join politics. Indeed, join politics. And also, our Venerable here has said so much about advocacy, public engagement, and also prayer that cannot be overemphasized. We have a duty to pray for our nation and also to participate in its well-being and everything that makes up for the nation. Viewers, this is the size of our package today. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, and I also won't forget to thank my wonderful guest in person of Venerable Joseph Unoya JP and also Mr. Virgins Onyize for making now streaming a reality this morning. Viewers, we want to urge you, remember, you can get more of our programs via various social media platforms and also by staying tuned to this station. So we'll come your way again with other interesting programs, same time, same station on Monday. Do have yourself a great weekend. I am Godwin Ujiri, and bye for now.